Howdy everyone, today is the day we finally get a good look at the new gameplay from Hunger, which is a new extraction looter shooter coming from the same devs that made Hell Let Loose. It is going to resemble Escape from Tarkov, Hunt Showdown, and a little bit of Chivalry because it does have an RPG mechanic with a lot of melee focus. However, this video I'm going to go in a deep analysis and cover the trailer from start to finish. If you guys don't know anything about this game, this video is going to be perfect in teaching you guys a little more than what meets the eye just by watching the trailer. However, I did get accepted and am now a creator for Hunger, so I will be giving you guys up-to-date news, good gameplay videos, and guides for Hunger for the foreseeable future, as well as focusing on Hunt Showdown. So anybody that's curious, I'm not only going to focus on one or the other. Once Hunger comes out and everybody can play it, I will be making consistent videos on that and Hunt Showdown at the same time. So if you guys like that type of content, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more of that. But let's roll the trailer, and then after that go into a deep dive analysis and explain exactly what Hunger is and why you guys should be more than excited for it.
Peggy 18.
Death hath cast its shadow o'er this land. All hope seemeth lost, yet still thou dost fight. Why? What seekest thou in the dark? A touch of warmth? A gold coin or two? No. Deep within these folds of flesh, you and I both know. Death has judged us rightly, for we are but beasts, unworthy of salvation.
So what is Hunger? Hunger is a PvPvE first-person extraction looter shooter based in Europe in the Napoleonic era. So meaning from the late 1700s to the early 1800s. With it being PvPvE, that means player versus environment. So you are going to have similar environments like Hunt Showdown or Escape from Tarkov, where not only is there enemy players trying to fight and kill you, but there are AI. So in Tarkov, you have the scavs, which shoot back at you with their guns. And then in Hunt, you have zombies and things like that. So that is probably going to be a little more akin to Hunt Showdown in this game than it will be Escape from Tarkov, because none of the enemies are going to be shooting guns at you in this game. And as well in this game, like Hunt Showdown and Escape from Tarkov, there will be bosses for you to hunt down and fight for bigger and better rewards. The difference though between Hunt and Tarkov is the fact that Tarkov has a big loot system, meaning extraction looter shooter. Technically, Hunt Showdown is just an extraction shooter because it doesn't have an intricate looting system. Yeah, sure, you can go around and pick up players' guns and stuff like that, but you can't drag and drop their things from their inventory. You can't go loot filing cabinets or anything like that, or duffel bags like you can in Hunt Showdown. However, Hunger is going to be more akin to Tarkov when it comes to this. It's not going to be a base looting mechanic where you just go and pick up their guns like in Hunt Showdown. This one will have a lot of loot spread around, and here are a few pictures on screen now of things that you can actually go up to and loot. However, like I said, it's going to be more similar to Escape from Tarkov than Hunt Showdown, where it is going to have a very big loot emphasis and loot mechanic in the game. That is why it's called an extraction looter shooter and not just an extraction shooter. In my opinion, Hunt Showdown is an extraction shooter because it doesn't have the big loot emphasis and system. However, Hunger is also going to have quest lines and sort of like a hideout, kind of similar to Escape from Tarkov as well. In this game, it's going to be called a chateau, which is going to be a player hub that you go to, similar to Call of Duty World War II's in-game player hub before the game actually starts, if anyone remembers that. So it's not necessarily going to be your own designated hideout, but it is going to be where you go to get quests or to buy gear before you go into the game. I want to preface, even though I am a creator, I just became one and I haven't talked to the devs or anything, so some of this is speculation. I don't know everything about this game, and some of these changes are obviously going to change by the time that you guys can play it. However, I've done a good amount of research and I think that I have a good grasp on what this game has to offer in the gameplay loop that it will provide. So let me go over some of the early access features that Hunger has planned for us. Starting off, they say early access will come with 3 very big and different maps, and more to come apparently. They're gonna have 30 weapons with more to come down the line, as well as gadgets, medicines, and tools. This game's gonna offer a unique combat system of shooting and slashing. They also say that there's gonna be a lot of customization between the characters, the bags, the guns, and all of this can be acquired for free in game. There's also going to be a permanent RPG skill progression system, so that is pretty cool and interesting to look forward to. Like I said about the Chateau, there's going to be a multiplayer hub where you get your quests, you buy your gear, and all of that type of stuff to go into the next game. Apparently, there's going to be a lot of different builds for you guys to use between the characters and a lot of different play styles. The quests are supposed to be in depth with storylines. They also boast engaging endgame content like bosses and dungeons. There will be no wipes in Hunger. They will have proximity VoIP, gathering and crafting, and a player-driven marketplace. So now that you guys have an idea of what Hunger is going to be, let me go through the trailer and give you guys a little more analysis on what I know that you guys might not. Like it says right here, from the creators of Hell Let Loose, which is actually a very cool thing. Hell Let Loose is similar to Squad, where it's very, very big maps and very big PvP fights of like 100+ people at a time, and you have to work together with your teammates. However, unlike Squad, which is set in modern times, Hell Let Loose is set in World War II. But it's a very gritty and grimy game, which would translate very, very well to a Napoleonic plague type environment like Hunger. The first picture, I want to say, this game just looks amazing. I know this is a trailer, but this is in-game footage. This is what it will relatively look like if you have a very, very nice PC. You can see 3 players, of course. To my knowledge, there is trios and duos, with you being able to play solo by yourself if you would like, similar to Hunt Showdown, how it only has trios and duos, but you can go in by yourself if that's what you prefer. And off the bat, you can already see 2 different characters, which have vastly different loadouts, and the way they look is pretty different as well. So I think that they're correct when they say there's a lot of customization to be had in this game.
Hath cast its shadow o'er this land. All hope seemeth lost.
So the first thing I'm noticing here is that this is a pretty open area. I know that there are guns in this game, but since it is a very heavy melee focus, I'm not really sure if this is going to be prevalent in these maps, if you're going to see open areas a lot or not. I hope not though, because this wouldn't be a good thing in my opinion, with mainly a melee focus on the game. However, one thing you might not notice in this picture is the fact that there's a balloon in the back, and those are extracts. So obviously these people are running across this field to get to that extraction.
Yet still thou dost fight.
And then we have this shot, which is very interesting because I would love to know how much of this building we can move through, how many buildings like this are on the map. And yeah, there's probably going to be a good amount of things to explore and places to go, especially with there being 3 maps on early access launch. That'll be really cool. But how many of these maps have big, intricate cities, or maybe just small parts of cities? That's a question I'm asking. And this shot gives me a little hope to think that we might get what we're looking for. And then, of course, we have this rifle, which has a very interesting loading mechanic. Seems like you take a shot and then the magazine moves to the side by itself, which is pretty interesting.
Why? What secret?
This scene right here, obviously we have somebody holding a big axe. Our teammate on the side looks like he's using something, maybe one of the blood bags. I think that that is a blood bag from the way he's seemingly messing with his veins on his arm, which eventually in this trailer shows off to be something that explodes when you shoot at it or get close to it. So that'll be very interesting to deal with those. And then again, we have the balloon, which I assume is going to be another extraction point.
In the dark.
This shot looks maybe to be the entrance of a dungeon. That could be another special AI in the middle, or that could be a boss. I can't really tell at this distance in the brightness inside of this cave. So then we get to this shot, which is the chateau. As you can see a little to the side of the middle of the screen, we have a few other players, I assume that is, in their ranks. And then on the right and left side of the screen, we have 2 other vendors. These are going to be where you're going to go to get quests and buy certain gear. And then you can see in the middle right here, we have the balloon again. I don't know if that's where you're going to have to go to start missions, or if it's just going to be there for the cosmetic of the chateau. So then right after the chateau, we get to this screen where the character is looting a box or something. He opens it and it doesn't instantly show the item in there. It kind of has like a phase where it takes a second to go through the box or whatever it's looting, kind of like Tarkov. If you're looting a filing cabinet, it takes a little bit of time to uncover the loot inside. And then once it does uncover what's in there, it turns out to be a double barrel pistol. Obviously, this is probably a flintlock, but it's interesting to see a double barrel pistol. Not sure how that's going to work if you're going to fire one shot and then have to have a reload animation of maybe moving the barrel around or doing something with the firing pins, or is that going to be 2 shots at once? How is that going to work? I'm not entirely sure. But when you're looking over here, you can see the first glimpse of the inventory of the person walking around. We have the money at the top, we have the tool belt, the equipment, items, and as well a weapon holster. One thing to note when you're looking at the weapon holster, if you look at the bottom, the weapon has an icon, which is definitely a bullet. And when you're looking for the items, maybe some ammo, or I'm thinking, where is the ammo on this? You would match that up with this green thing right here, which has the icon of 25 bullets as well. So this is most likely going to be the ammo for that gun. We also have a key, a few keys at that, a bottle, some salt or powder, maybe a soup, and then 13 balls. That looks like a little ball right there. I'm assuming that that is ammo for a small pistol, maybe a flintlock pistol or something like that, which would then go good with the pistol that we're just picking up. I don't know for sure though if that 13 ball thing is going to be ammo or not. Then when we look at the equipment, you can see the armor, the 2 green pieces right in the middle, as well as some other slots. There's a key here, a bag icon. I wonder if this on the left, this green thing right here, is one of the bags. I assume it is, and I assume it's not that great of a bag because it's green rarity. And yes, there is a rarity system in this game. I'm pretty confident the green is worse than the blue here, and then all the stuff that doesn't have a color to it is just going to be its uncommon base items or loot, probably not worth much. But I assume that this green thing right here is a small bag, and that you can have the option to have 2 bags at one time, or maybe this is what's around your waist and then you have the option for the bag, hence why it might be only 9 item slots instead of 6. I would be very surprised if you could only have a few items on your person at a time in a game like this where there's going to be a lot of loot around the map. I would assume that this is something on your holster and then the person just doesn't have a bag at the moment. And then of course we have a sword at the top, and that's all I'm really gathering from this scene. We move on to somebody proposing us a quest, which is Lewis, and you can accept or deny it. Very interesting. I don't really know why somebody would want to deny any of the quests. And maybe this kind of messes with the storytelling a little bit. If you take someone's quest or deny someone's quest, they feel different about you. I assume the reputation of these vendors is going to go up or down depending on how much of their quests you're taking and what you're doing for them. But just very interesting to know that we can deny or accept quests instead of just taking a quest because it's there. So maybe that could have some implications down the line if we don't take this quest or if we do. And then we get our first look at a stash, which Lewis is the one who just proposed us a quest. Apparently Lewis is the stash master. My question here is, as you can see, it's a big stash. Is this going to be our stash? So we have to go to Lewis every time we want to do anything with our stash? Or is this going to be a separate or additional stash that we have access to as well? It would kind of seem silly to go to a vendor every time we wanted to mess with our stash, but I guess maybe that is the case in this game. Like I said a little bit ago, you can see some of the different rarities. We have some purple items, which I assume are more valuable than all of the green and silver items. We have a decent amount of armor in our stash at the moment. Earlier, like I said, you could see some ammo. And then that kind of answers my question earlier. It seems as if we have a bigger bag, but this still looks like something that you would have around your tool belt or your waist, which I know it doesn't say it's on the tool belt, but it still looks like something that might be on your tool belt. It seems more of like a pouch. And they still don't have a bag, but they can hold 20 items at this moment. So that is pretty good. Up here, I believe we have a blood bag, which is going to regen your health. And then in our item belt, we have 28 balls, which I assume is for pistols, but we shall see. Now, one thing I noticed is that at the bottom of the screen, it says that this helmet apparently reduces additional damage from headshots by 50%. Now, that's very interesting because I don't know how I would feel if I shot somebody in the head and it only did half damage. I don't know too much else outside of what this says. So I guess we will have to wait and see, but I hope that it doesn't cut the damage of the gun in half by hitting someone's head. That wouldn't really make any sense. So I'm not sure if anybody knows. Let me know in the comments below. Moving on, we get to another vendor, which is Pyro, apparently a merchant. And so this person is going to sell us things. And from first glance, I would assume that it is a medical vendor, kind of like Therapist from Escape from Tarkov. And there's also preset responses to interact with these vendors. So that's interesting as well. And that could play into the storytelling, like I said, maybe earlier, where you choose a response to talk to these people and your reputation goes up or down. Who knows? I guess we will see. And then we go to the next scene, though, where we are able to buy some things, which there are no medical equipment in this. This is a piece of armor, a few guns, and some ammo. And it also has a timer. So it seems as if these merchants are going to change the things that they offer you over a set amount of time. So maybe each day or something like that, their items are going to refresh, or maybe they change entirely. Marauders, if anybody has played Marauders, which is an extraction looter shooter, it's kind of dead now, but it's still a good game. That had a vendor system where they completely changed from a set amount of items that were shown up at a time, and the next time it refreshed, it went to something else. I'm curious to see if that's the case here, or if it's just if you bought so many of these items that they will be back eventually. But it does say new wares, so I assume that it is going to randomly give us some other items that are not on the screen at this moment. And then as you can see, the reputation level is at the top, says friendly. So I assume if you're good with the vendor, you're probably going to get a little cheaper price. If you are not good with the vendor, they're going to probably charge you more for the same items. We're looking over at the inventory. We have a few different items, and as you can see, that is correct from earlier. The ball is for the pistols. That ball icon is the same as it is down over here in the items. Right here, we have 30 ball ammo. These numbers, though, below the icon, I'm curious to know what that means. There's a white 3 right here and a orange 63. I'm very curious to know if there's maybe durability on these things. How would you guys like durability on these items? Let me know in the comments below. I actually don't think it would be that bad. They're in a lot of these types of games, and that could be kind of cool and interesting to see. But I'm not sure what it is. Guess we shall find out. Then as you can see, we have a whole team moving across with some melees and some guns. This map looks amazing, but here we have another open area, which is kind of scary. I don't want a bunch of open areas in a melee focused game. And then as you can see, we have a team moving up to what seems to be regular AI, similar to maybe zombies from Hunt Showdown. And then we have what seems to be a blood bag, which I haven't seen this specific design on any of the pictures we have as a creator for Hunger. So I'm not exactly sure if this is just a cosmetic or if this is maybe a different version of a blood bag that I haven't seen yet. But here is a picture on screen of all of the blood bags we've been shown. Maybe that this is a different version or a different variant. I don't know. Could it just be a different cosmetic? I'm not honestly sure. But this is definitely reminiscent of a blood bag. And then we see somebody moving into a compound with a pretty nasty looking AI moving across. This is supposed to be one of the special AI, and you've seen it a few times by now, watching through the trailers a few times. The next shot, it looks like we are using maybe an armor plate, similar to Call of Duty Warzone. When you're putting an armor plate on, if we pause it right at the start, it does seem reminiscent of some of the pictures that us creators have got of the armor plates. I'll put one up on screen right now. From my view, it looks something very similar to this. If you match the patterns, I'm pretty sure that this is an armor piece being equipped on the player. And then right here, it seems as if we are popping the cap off of one of the medical items. I'm not completely sure if you're going to have to drink or inhale these. and if they're going to heal you or not, but it seems very similar to these. It seems as if the one in the middle is the one being used at this moment. And then we take it back to the second shot from earlier where the duo is heading towards the extraction point, which again is part of that open field. Not much to see here, but I should say this environment looks amazing. The fog just fits the game and it looks amazing. When I'm playing in Hunt, there's a lot of times where I get annoyed by playing in fog because it happens so often. So one thing I do want to say is I hope that it's not too often. I'm sure it fits the game. I'm sure it looks amazing, and it clearly does. But I don't know if I want fog all the time. Devs don't make fog happen all of the time. That is one thing I get annoyed at in Hunt Showdown sometimes. And then this is just a beautiful shot. But you cannot tell me that this is all in the playable map. There is absolutely no way that this is the whole map. I would assume that this is probably at the very edge of the map, and all of that city is just for background ambience or for the decoration of the outside of the map. But we will find out eventually. Another great looking shot with the team moving in. The dude in front of us seems to have a pretty decent sized backpack. I'm sure he's got some good loot on him. With one of the more hardcore AI in the back, you can see him standing there, which was also in the intro of this trailer. You could see him like towering over somebody and they were trying to block him. I don't think that he is going to be a boss. I would assume he's just going to be similar to a meathead in Hunt Showdown, where he's one of the harder things to kill that aren't the bosses. And then as you can see in this shot, seems as if we have one of the base AI pushing at us. Something I want to note though is there's a lantern on the side. Are we going to be able to interact with those like we can in Hunt? Can we turn those on or off? I think that's an interesting question, and I think that we probably will be able to. Another very clean and nice ambient shot right here of two people moving up into what looks like to be one of the base AIs as well. And then in this clip, I think he is using one of the clamps to fix his armor. It definitely looks like one of these. This file is named toolkits, so I assume that these items are all going to repair your armor, but probably at a slower rate than just applying a new armor plate like earlier, but I'm not exactly sure if that's what's going on here. As you can see on the left though, that looks like a pretty cool customized character with a nice gun that she is holding. Overall, I'm really digging the vibe of this game. I'm really thinking that this is going to be something special, and I can't wait to play it. And then this is the AI I was talking about earlier. Beneath the balloon that I was talking about was the extraction point. Obviously, our character is loading the gun with what looks like to be black powder before he could put the ball in and then get another shot down target. Also, I want to say these inside shots look absolutely insane, and it just holy moly, this looks so good. And this was the creepy crawly AI that I was talking about earlier when we were moving into that compound. Pretty creepy, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that this is a boss. This is probably going to be something similar to that other AI that I was talking about a little bit ago. And as you can see right here, our character is dropping a ball into the barrel of what looks like a triple barrel. I can see 3 barrels in this shot. That's going to be insane. Is that going to be a triple barrel pistol? We have double barrel pistols and triple barrel pistols. I know that there's quad pistols from Hunt Showdown, like the quad Derringer, but a triple barrel, that's interesting. And I don't think I ever knew that that was a thing. And then obviously in the background, our teammates appear to be shooting at some of the AI. This shot here is immaculate as well. Holy moly. I'm just so enamored at all of these pictures, but the background there is so nice. I would assume that most of that is not accessible, but maybe I am incorrect on that. And yeah, this shot just looks amazing too. The mountains in the background, all those trees. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. However, in this shot, I'm not really understanding what the teammate is shooting at, but you can see our character is shoving the rod down the barrel to get ready for another shot. And then in this clip, you get to see a little bit of our teammate taking down one of the AI mobs. The nighttime looks fantastic as well. Got one of the big boys in the background. It's going to show something a little more akin to an armored in Hunt Showdown, it seems, where he's going to be able to do some decent damage to you if he does hit you, but he's not going to be insanely easy to kill like a zombie. But with meleeing in this game, I'm sure you'll be able to handle him very efficiently. And then you can see his arm has a bunch of things poking and sticking out of it. I assume if he hits you with that arm, you probably will have a bleed to take care of, similar to a concertina armored in Hunt Showdown. Not too much to take from this shot other than a whole team moving across the area. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, This bridge right here looks like the same bridge that was in the previous shot a few shots ago. Right here, that bridge seems to be the same one that was just over there. Maybe those trees in the background are playable, and that is all in a part of the map. We then have what seems to be our first look at PvP. We have a total of 6 people in this shot, so we have 2 teams fighting it out. However, after all of these shots, the only person I can see taking damage is this blood splat, I assume, from the teammate on the left. I wonder how that's all going to work, but this is clearly blood coming off of this teammate that we have on the left. However, then we can see some more PvP. We have a person in the back that is shooting towards our direction, as well as this dude in the water who has a humongous bag. Seems like maybe a gun holstered on the back, and then a nice melee that he's holding and charging us with. And we have what seems to be maybe a quad barrel, a 5 barrel or something like that. I can't really tell. Maybe this is the triple barrel that I was seeing earlier. That's interesting. Some more PvP is always good to see. Then we have another shot of PvP of a bunch of people meleeing and fighting with somebody getting close to us and us going for a block, I assume. Little extra PvP. As you can see, our person is going for a block in this shot. So I wonder how intricate the melee system is going to be. Is it just going to be heavy attack, light attack, block? Or is it going to be a little more intricate where you have to be aiming at the right spot? You have to be blocking in a certain direction or something like that. Are we going to have something that's more akin to For Honor? Or is it going to be just bare bones and basic? So far, it seems like it's pretty intricate and pretty good. And I assume you're going to take a lot less damage if you're blocking. Do we have a light attack? Do we have a heavy attack? We will see on that, I suppose. And then we have our first glimpse of a very, very interesting gun. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 11 or 12 shots on this specific disc. Very interesting. And I assume this is going to be one of the better guns in the game. But the front doesn't seem to have a front sight. So how are we aiming this? Is this going to be a shotgun? I'm not sure. But you can see there's a whole team here, and it seems to be fighting another team. These are not AI. It is a little hard to see, but they are not AI. Then we can see another death with our teammate shooting at this person, as well as our character is shooting at that person. And then we have 2 of the special AI. To my knowledge, these are special AIs, not going to be bosses or anything, attacking our teammate. I wonder how difficult between these 2 is it going to be to take them down if you're playing by yourself? Is that going to be at all viable? If you have bad gear, are you going to be able to survive even one of these? That's my question looking at this frame. The next shot, we have something interesting where I don't know if this is just for this weapon that our enemy is holding, since it is a 2-handed weapon, but he is slashing from the side. And most of the weapons I've seen so far in this trailer go from the top down. Is this something that you can do with each weapon, or is it just because it's a 2-handed weapon? But as you can see, 2 people are pushing us, and he goes in for the side swipe instead of the top down swipe. Then in the next frame, we have the explosive AI that I talked about a few times already in the video, that's shaped like the ball on screen. And when you get close to it or shoot at it, apparently it is going to explode. And in this clip, you can see one of our teammates actually dies, and it seems to leave a poison cloud. Maybe you can easily see a lot of the green that it leaves behind. So is this going to be something you shoot at a distance, you avoid entirely, or is this something you have to hit towards the bottom of it to not explode it and kill it? I don't know. Then when we get into this indoor basement shot, it seems this just looks amazing. I can't believe how good that looks. Oh my goodness. We have some PvP going on though, some shots ringing out. Not too much to take from here. We go back outside for some more PvP action. And then on this shot, I'm not sure if this gun has a bolt on the side or if that is a bipod. I don't assume that there is a bipod in this game on any of the guns, but you never know. Let me know in the comments below. Do you guys know if that is a bolt that you need to pull back to rechamber, or is that a bipod? You can see a lot of PvP going on a little bit in the distance. Looks very, very good. And then we're getting back to one of the big AI. Apparently our character is trying to block this. My question is, are we going to take absolutely no damage just because we're blocking something in this game? I assume since this is a big AI that is probably going to do a good bit of damage to us, even if we do block. And then it goes on to say that it will be early access this year. It will only be on Steam and Epic Games, so don't expect it to be on your guys' console if you guys play on console. Sadly enough, it's not going to be there. And it does show the blocking mechanic and the attack mechanic on one of the special AI. So let's just watch that again. So as you can see, that AI had a lot of health, and when we blocked, it didn't seem like we took any damage. So that's pretty interesting to see, but I would almost guarantee that the big guy that looks like a meathead is probably going to do a lot of damage, even if you block. We will find out though, I'm sure. Then the last thing to say is that this game just looks insanely amazing. I can't wait to play it. I've been so excited to see the trailer today. I just can't wait to see where this game goes. I think it's a very, very good thing for Hunt Showdown as well. Hunt has been an amazing game for a while, but they've had some interesting updates where they try and fix some bugs and it breaks other things, or maybe like last event, it was focused more on the quality of life changes than it was content. And overall, I think Hunt's a great game, but it does need some healthy competition. In its spot, it kind of runs a monopoly on the extraction shooter genre. I wouldn't say the extraction looter shooter, because I think those are two kind of different genres a little bit. This game being similar to Hunt and similar to some other games, I think is going to draw some people from Hunt Showdown and probably convert them to play only this game over Hunt. My only worry with this game though is the fact that it is melee focused a good amount, right? There is guns, but it seems as if the game is going to be heavily focused on melee, that it might get boring a little quicker for a lot of people, because a lot of people like shooting. They don't necessarily want to go around and hack and slash as much. Now, maybe it won't take a lot from the Hunt Showdown community because those people don't want to have to go around and melee a lot. I don't know, but we will find out how it turns out. And I am so excited for this type of game. Like I said earlier in the video, I am now a creator for this game. I have joined that program and it been accepted. So I will consistently try my best to make good and entertaining content for you guys on this game in the future. So if you made it to the end of this video and have learned anything or seen anything that you like from me or this game, you can expect that. So leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be bringing a lot more from where this came from. If you guys want to go above and beyond and support me, consider checking out my Patreon or my YouTube channel membership program. If you like Hunt Showdown in these games and you want coaching, at least on Hunt at the moment, I do offer that on my Patreon and my YouTube channel membership program as well. I will also be streaming Hunger and Hunt Showdown on the regular Wednesday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. EST. That is my schedule going forward. So if you guys like watching live streams, then consider coming over to my Twitch or my YouTube, because I stream on both of these platforms. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys out in the bayou and in Hunger.